Hello, my first grade friends. Happy asynchronous day. Now, we don't have our math packets anymore, and this week I'm not having you jump into your math workbook since we'll be using it a lot for Shape Week, Shape Season. But I do have something cool I want to show you. I want to show you how you can use shapes and tools on the computer on the off chance you don't have them to use during class or just on your free time. You want to check out some cool things you can do on the computer with your math tools that you would be using in person. I'm going to show you where to find them and what you can do with them. Let's go. So in our Google Classroom, if you go all the way up to the top of the page, up to the top of the page, normally you're clicking on math links and you're going on investigation games, which you still can. I always love it when people play math games during their asynchronous days or in their free time, like Zapped or Prodigy, right? But there's these two other websites that you can go on too. You can go on Virtual Manipulatives and Math Tools. Let me show you each of them. So you have Virtual Manipulatives, which is kind of like a fun way to use all these different things we use in first grade, and you can use them here. So if I were you, I'd probably be using things like the GeoBoard, where I can make shapes with dots in them. You'll be using dice, or you can use a timer. There's a number line that you can use to help with counting and calculators. But with all of these crazy things that you can be using, you're going to be using the pattern blocks and what's called tangrams, which are kind of like just big different shapes of rectangles and triangles. You'll be using them the most. So once I found pattern blocks, those are the names of the shapes blocks you have at your house, you can use them here to build whatever you want. So you can spin it around if you want. You can connect them by their sides. I always like to draw like a little girl. So maybe here I'll put it like this. There's something weird about this that I don't really like is that it moves while you're holding it. So you do have to be careful with that. But here I'm going to make her some little arms. So I kind of have to turn it this way. You might have to click it again. This is a really good game to play if you have a mouse like me. So there's different ways that you can make shapes, and you just have to make sure that it doesn't go on top of it. So, man, this girl's hair is getting blown by the wind. But lifting it up and turning it can make it a little easier for you. So you can draw and you can delete them by dragging them over to the trash can. And if you touch the trash can on its own, you can start over just like in our math games. Now, there's another website that you can use too, called Math Tools. And the math tools are all these things we use in our actual math class, like a calculator. We'll learn about clocks, and we'll learn about fractions later on in the year. We'll be using an 100s chart. This is where I want you to go today. So just like how in the virtual manipulatives, you were going to the pattern blocks, right? Or I guess I didn't show it. Maybe you want to try the tanagrams and try and build shapes that they have. They have them here to show you. They're just bigger shapes of like squares and triangles, so they're kind of fun. They have something called geometry. Geometry is studying shapes, which is what we're doing. They have shapes that you can click on, those tangram shapes, which are the squares and triangles. And they have a GeoBoard, and they have solids, which are like 3D shapes. You can check out all of them, but the shapes button is where you'll have the most fun because those are all of our pattern blocks here. And all you have to do is click on it, and you can drag it around to move it. You can even just erase them and draw on here, and you can make things different colors if you want. You can do a mirror where if you drag something, there we go. You can make something so if you drag it, it'll make a mirror image of it, which is pretty cool, like this. So, I don't know why it's not working all of a sudden. There we go. So if you have it on the mouse button and you're picking how you want it to look, now look here, I can make it so that whatever I do up here, it's like as if you were looking in the water. It's doing a mirror image. Ooh. And like I said, you can pick a color and click on it, and it'll change it to a different color. Or at least it should. This is silly. It's like SpongeBob. 4 hours later. Maybe we have to wait. Well, all I know is that the students end up learning how to do this way better than Miss Remitz. So here I can make that little girl again if I wanted. I can just click on it and turn it. And it actually comes in pretty nice and neat. I can make arms. And the nice thing I like about this is it can go on top of each other. So maybe if I wanted to give her brown hair, I could. Kind of like this. And they have dots here. So if you want to connect it by the dots on the screen, you can. There's so many different ways, I'm telling you. First graders, even if it's just messing around like I did, I want you to check out those different math links and play around with the shapes. Play around with the tangrams, which are the triangles and the square rectangle blocks. Just check out what we have for you on the computer, because some days you might get tired of playing with the dice, the cubes, and the stuff you have in person, that you might want to try practicing it on the computer so you can get better at using your mice and your mouse and dragging. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you this afternoon. Keep checking out Prodigy and keep playing Zapped. It's so important. I'll see you later. Bye.